Hi guys, I'm Stefan. Welcome back to another lesson in my Level 3 Technique and Performance course within the Beginner Piano course. In this video, we're going to learn Beethoven's Ecossaise in G. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so, and if you like what you see, give this video a thumbs up. Also, I offer online piano lessons if you're looking for one. There's going to be information below. And if you'd like to get the book for the course, there's going to be links to that below too. So Ecossaise in G by Beethoven is a very nice little dance. It looks quite simple, but it's not quite so simple. It works on articulation, on octaves a little bit in the left hand, and really balancing and coordinating melody and accompaniment between the two hands in the key of G major. It goes really well with the chapter, which is about 16th notes or semiquavers in the lesson book, and it's also a really good workout in different kinds of articulations. So let's have a look. So we're in the key of G major, as I said, so every F is going to be an F sharp. Make sure to play a G major scale before you start practicing, just to really tune into the key. And it says allegro, so fast, and it needs to have quite an upbeat speed. Now, there's no specific speed, but it needs to flow with a nice, happy, upbeat tempo. And we are in 2/4, so 2 quarter note beats in every bar. Let's start with the left hand, the first 8 bars until the repeat sign. So the left hand starts with this G major chord. As you can see, the left hand is basically playing the chords in an 8th note pattern. So the first bar is a G major chord. I'm going to block out the chords just so I know where the hand is going to move. So that's our G major chord, G, B, D, and then a D7, D, A, C. And then another D7, but D, F sharp, C, and then a G with a suspension coming down to a G. The second line, bar 6, again starts with a G chord, then a D7 with the A, D7 with the F sharp, and finishing on a G, B, and coming down. So let's do it on the count. We're going to play with a very soft wrist, rounded hands, to make sure that the notes go down perfectly together. And although it doesn't say staccato, the notes are so short and you want to create this dance feel that you can technically make them staccato or very detached, but you need to be very light when you play these chords. So let's count 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and D and 2 and D and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So here in the last bar of the first line, you have 5 and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3. So on the final 8th note, you're going to go down to the B. Bar 6, 1 and 2 and D and 2 and D and 2 and G, D, G. So finishing on this kind of arpeggio-like pattern, G, B, D, 1 and 5 on the G. Right hand has the tune, so of course we need to emphasize the melody of the right hand over the left hand accompaniment, but the right hand has a lot of legato and staccato combinations, and we also have some marcato notes which have the little arrow-like sign, which is kind of a stronger accent and even sharper than the staccato, so marked. Now, let's start number 3 on the B. The rhythm is going to be 16th notes followed by 8th, so T, re, T, 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 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So we always have these quarter notes in the middle which create syncopation, the 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and that gives the drive for the piece and makes this rhythm very interesting. So make sure to hold those quarter notes in the middle. So starting legato and then staccato, again playing with the fingertips, a very light wrist, soft wrist, and nice clean articulation. And 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So here we have A sharp, and then next line, and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. And you can shade this any way you want to with dynamics. It says piano at the start. Now, some editions have a lot more dynamics, but that's editorial. I didn't want to add too much in to give you space or freedom to create your own. The rising melody lines can have a crescendo and then you can pull it back again. So there are many different ways to color it dynamics-wise. And also the fingering obviously is suggestions only. If you find something that works better for you, by all means go with that. Now, hands together, the only thing you need to really watch is the legato against staccato, and when you have the quarter note in the right hand, making sure the left hand is moving on. So, and 1 and 2 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 and 1 and 2. And of course, one beat, half a beat is missing from the last bar because we started with an upbeat. And that was the first section. The second section is very different. It's a more aggressive kind of sound. It's going to have these octaves in the left hand which outline a D major arpeggio. So the left hand is going to go D, F sharp, A, D, and that's twice from bar 10. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Now again, if you haven't played many octaves before, this is going to feel a little bit difficult, but what you need to do is make these staccato and really memorize that distance, because you have to put your attention onto the right hand double notes. So the left hand has to be able to move on its own without you looking there too much. So lots of repetition is going to help, and trying to keep the wrist again not too tense. Now if you have smaller hands, it's going to get a bit more tense, but because it's not a full octave, you have to play them one after the other. It's actually easier because you can bounce between them. So nice strong staccatos and moving through this D major. And then in bar 15 we have the syncopation coming back, so F sharp and D, 1 and 2 and staccatoing up on the G, and then a C octave, 1 and 2 and then 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. So we finish with these D7 chords ending on the same G arpeggio. Right hand is going to start with, again, an upbeat, so and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. So here we have these kind of rolls, 4/16 notes, and we have these thirds. Now you can either play it with the same two fingers, but make sure it's very accurate. They go down together, not like this. Okay, so ba-da-ba. And then kind of sliding through these four notes with a bit of wrist movement. And then same again. And going on, number 2 on the A this time, because we need number 4 for the C. 1 and 2 and. So legato. 1 and 2 and. Now G and E. 1 and 2 and. Again, trying to do at least a half legato there. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and 1. Hands together. 1 and 2 and. Now here again I have legato and staccato in the left hand. Now here make sure you really synchronize those two hands, so all 4 notes sound exactly together. And then octave. And back to quiet. So finishing very lightly. And that's the Ecossaise in G, so not a long piece, not too hard to memorize, but it's quite tricky to play because of the articulation and the octave jumps in the left hand.